guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess. It's so good to have you here. If you're new, welcome. Also, if you're new, I usually try harder. Today I was at the ER this morning because last night I was struggling and I have a UTI, which is what I thought I had. I was just afraid I had a kidney infection, so that's why I went to the hospital. But I'm on medication now and here we are. Today's video is about moving to Europe. I had a girl write in my DMs asking me some questions about moving to Europe with young kids because we did that when Eloise was little. We lived in Spain for 2 years. And so as I was going to write her back, I thought maybe it would just be easier if I make a video. That way, in case anybody else is in her shoes, I could just share some stuff. And then for those of you guys who might be watching this and have already done it, or you're watching and you're European, you could leave tips below that could help other people. So before I get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like the video. Yeah, please leave comments for other families. And oh, if you need more support in your parenting journey, we have a Facebook group called Jess Hover and Friends. You request to be in, answer the questions, and then somebody will let you in there and you will have access to lots of wonderful people who are mostly parents or grandparents, and you can ask questions and receive input from others. That could be cool. We're also going to move all of those people, or many of those people, to a new platform pretty soon. We're going to be announcing that, so you can just stay tuned for that information. And if you have not already shopped Very Good Mothers Club, small business that we run, it's so cool. But if you have, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And now I'll just tell you my tips, okay? So moving overseas. So we lived in Barcelona for 2 years, but I've been there a whole bunch of times for 3 months at a time because of a nonprofit that we worked for. And then a lot of my dear friends, like closest friends of our family, are European because the nonprofit that we worked with was an international nonprofit. So our coworkers or team members when we went on different trips were internationals. And so, yeah, we have like very best friends who are from Germany and Switzerland, and we have dear friends in like Denmark and Norway and Sweden and I don't know, all over Europe and Finland. I could just list all the countries. We have people there. And so really what I want to say is I absolutely love Europe. And if you are getting the opportunity to move to a European country, I just think you're so lucky, and it's going to be a really wonderful experience. Even if the transition is hard, as most transitions are, it's going to be so, so good. And I really think if you have that opportunity or you're considering taking that opportunity, go for it, because there's going to be more good than not coming from this. I just think people in Europe they have so much to give, so much to teach us. They're so fun to be friends with. And yeah, I think go for it. With that being said, I really struggled when I moved to Barcelona, and I had been there a bunch of times, and I had friends there before, so I wasn't even going into a place like totally cold, not knowing anyone. I had people. But what I didn't have in the past trips to Barcelona was a child. So moving there with a kid was a totally different thing. And I think now, learning everything that I've learned, there are some things that we could do differently, and hopefully I can share with you and you could do it differently than I did. One thing is, if you have the opportunity to go there as a family before moving there, that would be awesome. That doesn't always work out. It depends on the job that you have and the financial resources you have, but it would be cool if your whole family could see where it is that you're going. Second thing is, prioritize learning the language of where you are. I think that is super important, and one of the ways that you can feel very isolated in your new home is if you don't connect with the people there and you don't understand the world around you. Learning a language is not easy, so I'm not saying it's like this really quick thing, go for it, but I think it's really important to prioritize as a family learning the language. Even if the job that you have there is in English, I think it is so valuable, and something I would have done differently now if I could go back and do it all again is I would have tried harder to learn Spanish faster. My first year in Spain, I was mostly with my daughter, and I mean, I was out and about, but a lot of the interactions that I had out of the house were in English, and I didn't really have the headspace to be thinking about Spanish. I wish I did. I should have. But my second year there, we put Eloise in a daycare kind of preschool place where she was going to be speaking Spanish every day. Her teacher didn't speak English. And so the gift to me was that in order to enroll her in the school, understand her caretakers, be able to talk about her on a daily basis, and even engage with other parents there, I needed to learn Spanish. So that really sped up my Spanish learning. And that also gave me freedom in the day to go make friends and learn and build a life outside of motherhood there. Which brings me to my next point. When you're moving to a new place, I would say prioritize having your child in some sort of preschool or social setting or daycare or some sort of group where they can be making friends, and then you also will either have the time to make friends, or if you are with them in the group, you're making friends with the other parents there. Connection is so important. So language and connection, if you can build those things into your life in your new home, it will help so much. Ways you could do that, depending on like your lifestyle. I know that there are international churches. I've heard of people finding international churches so that they can speak their language with people from their own country or from another country that speaks the same language as them. We, before going to Barcelona the first time, reached out to people who worked with the same organization we had worked for to build relationship and build friendship, and ask, is there a way that we could partner with you guys with something, both to be able to help them, but also to be able to have friends once we got there, to understand like, these are our people, this is what we're gonna be doing. I know once I got Eloise into a preschool, which I found through doing Google searches, I started going to coffee shops and restaurants in the area around her, and I would see little posters for like mommy and me classes, or I don't know, park days and reading times and all these things for kids. And I feel like I just didn't see that at all the first year I was there. And maybe I didn't think to look for it. I don't know. I was new to Barcelona as a mom, and then I was new to being a mom. So I didn't think that those things existed and I should be going to find them. But they do exist. There are all sorts of opportunities for people to connect with one another in the new place. And I would suggest looking for those, asking people, if you meet other families at like a playground or something, ask the parents, is there like an opportunity for a play date we could have, or is there a group you're a part of with your kid that we could come do? Anything so that you can make friends. I even was looking up like, is there beach volleyball teams I could be a part of? Like, can I go to coffee with anybody that I meet? I just wanted to connect and make friends and learn Spanish. And once I started doing that, it helped so much to enhance my experience being there. Groceries. So everything is going to be different where you're going. Probably, maybe not, but for me, definitely. Here in California, we drive places. You drive to a big grocery store that has masses of options, and you just pick what you need and you leave. Where we lived, you walk everywhere almost. You're walking, or you're taking public transport, the metro, the bus. So you want to figure out like, where's your grocery store, and do you live near one, and what are their hours? Because very likely their hours are going to be different than they are where you live now. And then what is their like selection for basically everything you're gonna need, because you're gonna create a new normal weekly grocery list, right? And so for me, it got really easy and fun once I understood, this is my nearby grocery store, this is how I get there, this is what I need to bring. I had to bring like a little grandma cart is what I called it. It's like the cutest little pulley cart thing, and you just fill it up with your groceries. When you're picking where you're gonna live, factor that in. Where is the nearest grocery store? Where is the nearest clothing store if I'm gonna need clothes? I just think that's so helpful. Even nearest public transportation, like metro or bus stop, playgrounds, wherever you think you're gonna be going to on a regular basis, find that in the area as you're picking your home that you're gonna live in. Also for me, when I was picking our apartment, I knew I was gonna be inside the apartment a lot with my young one. And so I wanted a place that was light, bright, had good natural light. And so I factored that in as well, because I knew that it would help my mental well-being. And it did. Oh yeah, invest in a good stroller if you're gonna be living in a city where you walk a lot. So I currently have the Mockingbird stroller, which I really enjoy, but I will say, if I was back in Barcelona where I was walking miles and miles daily and pushing the stroller all the time onto buses, onto metros, onto everything, I would invest in even a more expensive, sturdier stroller than the one that I have. The one that we had in Spain was the Uppa Baby stroller, and I absolutely loved it and think it was perfect for our life there. And thankfully I got it secondhand, so it wasn't as expensive, because they are quite expensive. But if you think about it, depending on where you're going, you probably won't have a car, so you're not putting expenses towards that, so you can put expenses towards having proper transportation that works for your family. Learn the language, have a good social life. Oh, connect with your partner, talk a lot, and also understand that it's a big transition for your kids as well. So I went through a thing where I felt like Eloise was totally different when we moved. She was much more clingy. She was much more shy when it came to interacting with other people at first. And I spoke with someone who was a counselor of people moving to different cities, and they said that that's very normal. And so as much as I was going through a whole big transition of like, what is my new life here? So were my kids. And even though it's a happy transition, maybe you're moving to a place you're really stoked about, it's still a big life change, and you're having to find your normal and they're having to find their normal. And so give your family space to be able to do that. Prioritize happy memories, like for us going to the beach, going to McDonald's and just getting a little ice cream or café con helado, whatever it is that's like a special treat for you guys, and you're making little happy memories along the way very intentionally. I think that's super important. And then you could also consider getting a counselor. For me, that was super helpful, and I did not do it right away. I took a while, and I think that it was something that I probably should have done really early on to just keep my mind safe. But you can get a counselor through the app called BetterHelp, who is not sponsoring this video, but I think I have a link for it. So if I do, I'll put it below. But you can have a counselor that is the same counselor everywhere in the world, because you're talking to them through texting and writing and maybe like FaceTime or whatever. You can talk to them as frequently as you want. That's what I did when I lived in Spain, and it was very, very helpful. Find friends in the place that you can ask questions to when it comes to like visas or getting certain, I don't know, paperwork that you need to figure out, healthcare you need to figure out, anything like that. If you can reach out to people who are locals who speak the language, maybe it's coworkers for you. If you're going to work with a business, very likely they'll have people at your work that can help you with some of that stuff. Ask so much for help. Like ask. I said that really weird. Ask so much for help. Just ask for help. So much. I don't know why I sound dumb. Ask for help, receive help from locals, prioritize connecting with people, learn the language, blah, 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 get a good stroller, walk a lot, have so much fun. Europeans are so great. They are so great. Like, go in ready to learn, go in ready to be curious, ready to engage with people, get to know their culture, get to know their holidays, get to know their food, be friends with them, like invite them into your life, into your family, be part of theirs. It is so, so special. You will make just the coolest memories, and it'll be so important. And also, don't be surprised if your relationship with your partner gets strained. That's something Sean and I went through that was kind of sucky, but also strain can then lead to closer connection. So you don't have to like resist it, but just if you start to feel crazy and feel like you can't connect with this person who you love so much, that's normal. Talk things through. If you need a counselor for both of you, go for it. You're both going through a lot as this change happens. And maybe it's just awesome. Maybe you don't even feel the low stuff that I felt. Maybe you'll just get there and be like, oh, I finally feel at home. This place is glorious. That might be true. That could happen. I hope that happens for you. That's all. I think that's all. I hope you're doing good. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Also, where are you moving? Tell me in the comments where you're moving. I'm so excited and jealous. One day I hope we move back to Spain. That's what I hope. I'm learning Spanish. Still, always learning Spanish.